The shattered vow. A complete romantic revenge story. The wedding that broke her. The morning of dreams. The morning sun painted golden streaks across the marble floors of the Grand Palace Hotel. Maya stood before the mirror in her bridal suite, her reflection showing a vision in white silk and diamonds. Her hands trembled slightly as she adjusted her veil, not from nervousness about marriage, but from pure joy. Today was supposed to be the happiest day of her life. Today, she would marry Arjun Malhotra, the man who had promised her forever under the stars just 6 months ago. "You look like a dream," her mother whispered, tears streaming down her face as she clasped the diamond necklace around Maya's neck. The necklace was a family heirloom, passed down through generations, meant only for the most special occasions. Maya touched it gently, feeling the weight of tradition and love. Outside, 300 guests filled the decorated hall. Red roses cascaded from every corner, mixed with white lilies that filled the air with their sweet fragrance. Crystal chandeliers sparkled overhead, casting rainbow reflections across the walls. Everything was perfect. Everything was exactly as Maya had dreamed since she was a little girl. Her best friend Natasha rushed into the room, breathless and flushed. "Maya, you're absolutely stunning. Arjun won't be able to take his eyes off you." She hugged Maya tightly, perhaps a bit too tightly, and Maya noticed something strange in her eyes. Was it sadness? Guilt? But the moment passed so quickly that Maya convinced herself she had imagined it. "Have you seen him?" Maya asked, her heart fluttering with anticipation. "Is he ready?" Natasha's smile flickered for just a second. "He's getting ready. You know how men are, always running late." She laughed, but the sound felt hollow in the luxurious room. The wait that changed everything. The ceremony was scheduled for 11 in the morning. At 10:45, Maya's father came to escort her to the mandap, the sacred wedding pavilion decorated with marigold flowers and silk drapes. His eyes shone with pride as he took her arm. "My little girl," he whispered, his voice thick with emotion. "I'm so proud of the woman you've become." They walked slowly down the corridor, Maya's heavy lehenga rustling with each step. The sound of wedding music grew louder. She could hear the priest chanting mantras, preparing for the sacred ceremony. Her heart beat so fast she thought it might burst from her chest. But when they reached the entrance to the wedding hall, something felt wrong. The music had stopped. An uncomfortable silence filled the massive space. 300 pairs of eyes turned toward her, but instead of joy and celebration, she saw confusion and whispers. Maya's father squeezed her hand. "Wait here," he said, his voice suddenly tense. He walked quickly toward the mandap, where the priest stood looking bewildered and uncomfortable. Maya watched as her father spoke to the wedding coordinator, then to Arjun's father, then to several other people. Everyone seemed to be searching for something. Or someone. Her stomach twisted into knots. Natasha appeared at her side again, this time avoiding Maya's eyes. "Maybe there's just a small delay," she said quietly, but her hands were shaking. "Where is Arjun?" Maya asked, her voice barely a whisper. "Natasha, where is he?" Before Natasha could answer, Maya's father returned. His face had turned pale, and his hands trembled as he reached for his daughter. "Maya, beta. Arjun isn't here." The words didn't make sense. "What do you mean he isn't here?" "He's probably just in the groom's room, getting ready." "He's gone, Maya." Her father's voice cracked. "He left. His things are gone. His phone is switched off. He's not coming." The world tilted sideways. Maya felt her knees buckle, but her father caught her. Around her, the whispers grew louder, like waves crashing against rocks. She heard fragments of conversations. "Left her at the altar, how shameful, poor girl, what will people say?" The discovery that broke her. Maya's mother rushed to her side, tears streaming down her face. "We'll figure this out, Beta. There must be some mistake. Maybe there's an emergency." But Maya barely heard her. Her eyes had found something that made her blood run cold. On the empty chair where Arjun was supposed to sit, someone had left his phone. It must have fallen from his pocket in his rush to leave. Maya pulled away from her parents and walked toward it like she was in a trance. She picked up the phone. It wasn't locked. And there, on the screen, was a message thread between Arjun and Natasha. Her best friend. The girl she had known since childhood. The girl she trusted with all her secrets. Maya's hand shook as she scrolled through the messages. Each word was a knife to her heart. Arjun, I can't do this anymore. I love you, not her. Natasha, then don't marry her. Run away with me. We can start a new life together. Arjun, what about all the money her family spent on the wedding? Natasha, who cares? We'll have each other. That's all that matters. Arjun, you're right. I'll meet you at the airport. Book the tickets for Goa. We'll disappear. Natasha, I already did. I love you so much. This is going to be our story, not hers. The phone slipped from Maya's fingers and clattered to the marble floor. The sound echoed through the silent hall like a gunshot. Everyone stared at her. Waiting. Watching. Pitying. Maya looked up and searched the crowd for Natasha's face. But she was gone. Disappeared. Just like Arjun. Her mother picked up the phone and read the messages. Her face turned white as a sheet. That ungrateful girl, she whispered. After everything we did for her. We treated her like family. It was true. When Natasha's parents died in a car accident 5 years ago, Maya's family had supported her financially and emotionally. They had paid for her education, given her a place to stay, treated her like a daughter. And this was how she repaid them. The collapse. Maya felt something break inside her. Not just her heart, but something deeper. Her soul. Her trust. Her belief in love and friendship and goodness. Everything she had believed in shattered like glass. The wedding guests began to leave, some offering sympathetic words, others simply hurrying away to avoid the awkwardness. The beautiful decorations suddenly looked like a cruel joke. The roses seemed to mock her. The chandeliers felt too bright, exposing her humiliation for everyone to see. Maya's father tried to hold her, but she pushed him away. I need to be alone, she whispered. Maya, please. Alone. Her scream echoed through the empty hall. She ran. Still in her wedding dress, still wearing the diamond necklace, still carrying the weight of shattered dreams, she ran. Out of the hotel, into the street, not caring about the curious stares from strangers. She ran until she reached the small park where Arjun had proposed to her 6 months ago. She collapsed on the same bench where he had knelt before her, pulled out a ring, and promised her the world. Now that promise lay in pieces at her feet. Maya cried. She cried until there were no tears left. She cried until her throat hurt and her eyes burned. She cried until the sun set and darkness swallowed the park. When she finally stood up, something had changed. The girl who had entered this park was gone. In her place stood someone harder, colder, stronger. I will make them pay, she whispered to the empty darkness. Both of them. I swear it. 5 years later, the transformation. 5 years passed like a storm that refuses to end. Maya had transformed herself from a broken, humiliated bride into something powerful. She had taken her pain and turned it into fuel. She had always been smart, but now she was brilliant. She had always been hardworking, but now she was unstoppable. She used the money her father had saved for her wedding to start a small business. Within 2 years, that small business became a successful company. Within 5 years, Maya Sharma was one of the youngest and most successful businesswomen in the city. She built an empire called Phoenix Enterprises, named after the bird that rises from its own ashes. The name was personal. She had risen from the ashes of her destroyed wedding day. Her company specialized in real estate development and investment. She had a sharp mind for business and an even sharper instinct for opportunities. People respected her. Some feared her. Everyone knew not to cross Maya Sharma. But beneath the expensive suits and the cold professional exterior, the wound from 5 years ago still bled. She had never dated anyone else. She had never trusted anyone completely. She had built walls around her heart so high that no one could climb them. Her parents worried about her. "You've become too hard, Beta," her mother said one evening over dinner. "You never smile anymore. You never laugh." "Smiling doesn't build businesses, Ma," Maya replied, her voice flat and emotionless. "But it builds a life worth living," her father added gently. "We're proud of your success, but we miss the happy girl you used to be." Maya looked at them and felt a pang of guilt. They had aged in these 5 years. Her father's hair had turned completely white. Her mother's face had more lines. The wedding disaster had hurt them too, but they had never blamed her. They had only loved her and supported her. "I'm fine," she lied. "I'm exactly where I need to be." The business conference. In October, Maya attended the National Business Summit in Mumbai, a prestigious event where the country's top entrepreneurs gathered to network and share ideas. She was invited as a keynote speaker, a huge honor for someone her age. She delivered her speech with confidence and power, talking about resilience, transformation, and success. The audience gave her a standing ovation. As she walked off the stage, several people approached her with business cards and partnership proposals. That's when she saw him. Arjun Malhotra stood near the registration desk, looking nervous and out of place. He wore a cheap suit that had seen better days. His hair was unkempt. He had dark circles under his eyes. He looked like a shadow of the confident, charming man who had left her at the altar 5 years ago. Maya froze. Her heart began to pound, not with love, but with something darker. Rage. Pure, burning rage that she had kept locked inside for 5 years. Arjun hadn't noticed her yet. He was talking to one of the event volunteers, practically begging for something. Maya moved closer, staying hidden behind a group of people, listening. "Please," Arjun was saying, "I know I didn't register properly, but I really need to meet some investors. My business is failing. I'm drowning in debt. I just need one chance, one meeting." "I'm sorry, sir," the volunteer said firmly. "Without proper registration, you cannot access the networking areas. Those are the rules." Arjun's shoulders slumped in defeat. He looked broken. Desperate. Destroyed. Maya felt something dark and satisfying bloom in her chest. Karma had finally caught up to him. She walked toward him slowly, her high heels clicking on the marble floor. The sound made Arjun look up. When his eyes met hers, all the color drained from his face. Maya," he stammered, as if seeing a ghost. She smiled. It was not a warm smile. It was the smile of a predator who had just spotted her prey. "Hello, Arjun," she said, her voice smooth as silk and cold as ice. "Long time no see." The confrontation. Arjun stood frozen, unable to speak. His mouth opened and closed like a fish out of water. Maya noticed his hands trembling. Good. He should be afraid. I can explain," he finally managed to say, his voice weak and pathetic. "Explain?" Maya's laugh was sharp and bitter. "You mean explain how you left me standing at the altar in front of 300 people? Or explain how you ran away with my best friend? Or perhaps explain how you destroyed my family's reputation and broke my heart into a million pieces?" People nearby had started to notice the conversation. They stepped back, sensing the tension. "I was wrong," Arjun whispered. "I was a coward. I was stupid. Maya, I'm so sorry." "Sorry?" Maya stepped closer to him. Even in her heels, she was shorter than him, but somehow she seemed to tower over him with her presence. You think sorry fixes anything? Do you have any idea what you did to me? Tears began to roll down Arjun's face. Every day. I think about it every day. What I did to you was unforgivable. I destroyed the best thing that ever happened to me. Where's Natasha? Maya asked, her voice sharp as a blade. Arjun flinched at the name. Gone. She left me 2 years ago when the money ran out. Turns out she only loved my family's wealth, not me. By then, my father had disowned me for what I did. I lost everything, Maya. My family, my money, my reputation. I've been trying to rebuild, but everything I touch turns to dust. Maya felt no sympathy. Only cold satisfaction. Good, she said simply. Arjun looked at her with desperate eyes. I know I don't deserve your forgiveness. I know I destroyed something beautiful. But Maya, I'm begging you. I need help. I need. You need what? Maya interrupted. Money? A job? My help? She laughed again, and the sound was cruel. You have some nerve asking me for anything. I know, Arjun said quickly. But I heard about your company. Phoenix Enterprises. You've become so successful. I'm so proud of. Don't. Maya's voice was like ice. Don't you dare say you're proud of me. You have no right. You left me to build this empire from the ashes of my humiliation. This success? It exists because you destroyed me. Every brick in my company was laid with the anger and pain you caused. Arjun broke down completely, sobbing in the middle of the conference hall. People were definitely staring now, some recording on their phones. Maya should have walked away. She should have left him there, crying and broken, the way he had left her. But looking at him, an idea began to form in her mind. A dark, twisted, perfect idea. Revenge could be more than just watching him suffer from a distance. Revenge could be personal. Close. Intimate. She could make him pay every single day for what he did. Stop crying, she said coldly. You're embarrassing yourself. Arjun tried to compose himself, wiping his face with his sleeve. Maya pulled out her business card and handed it to him. He took it with shaking hands, staring at it like it was a winning lottery ticket. Come to my office tomorrow morning at 9, she said. I might have a job for you. Arjun's face lit up with desperate hope. Really? Maya, thank you. Thank you so much. I promise I won't let you down. You already did, Maya interrupted. This isn't kindness, Arjun. This isn't forgiveness. This is business. And if you work for me, you'll learn exactly what it feels like to be under someone's control. To be powerless. To be humiliated. Just like you made me feel 5 years ago. The hope in Arjun's eyes flickered with fear, but he was too desperate to refuse. I understand, he whispered. Good, Maya said. 9 o'clock. Don't be late. Unlike you, I value punctuality and commitment. She turned and walked away, her heels clicking with authority. Behind her, Arjun stood holding her business card like it was both his salvation and his doom. Maya smiled to herself as she left the conference hall. The game was about to begin. And this time, she would be the one in control. Part 2, The Game of Power. The first day of revenge. Arjun arrived at Phoenix Enterprises at 8:30 in the morning, half an hour early. He stood outside the tall glass building, staring up at the name etched in steel letters across the entrance. Maya had built this. From nothing, she had created an empire. And he had been too stupid to see her strength when he had the chance. The lobby was luxurious, with marble floors, modern art on the walls, and a massive chandelier hanging from the ceiling. Everything screamed success and power. Arjun felt small and insignificant in his cheap suit, carrying a folder with his outdated resume. The receptionist, a young woman with perfect makeup and a cold professional smile, looked him up and down with barely concealed disdain. Name? Arjun Malhotra. I have an appointment with Ms. Sharma at 9. She typed something on her computer, then picked up the phone. After a brief conversation, she hung up and pointed toward the elevators. 32nd floor. Executive suite. Ms. Sharma's assistant will meet you there. The elevator ride felt like an eternity. Soft music played overhead, and Arjun watched the floor numbers climb higher and higher. His heart pounded in his chest. What had he agreed to? Maya's words from yesterday echoed in his mind. This isn't kindness. This isn't forgiveness. The elevator doors opened to reveal a stunning office space with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the entire city. A young man in a crisp suit approached him. Mr. Malhotra? Follow me, please. Ms. Sharma is waiting. They walked down a corridor lined with photographs of Maya at various business events, shaking hands with politicians, celebrities, and international business leaders. 5 years ago, she had been a girl preparing for marriage. Now, she was dining with the elite. The assistant knocked on a large wooden door and opened it. Ms. Sharma, Mr. Malhotra is here. Send him in, came Maya's voice, cold and commanding. Arjun stepped inside, and the door closed behind him with a final sounding click. Maya sat behind a massive desk made of dark wood and glass. She wore a sharp black pantsuit, her hair pulled back in a severe bun. Diamond earrings sparkled at her ears. She looked like power personified. She didn't look up from the document she was reading. She made him wait. 1 minute. 2 minutes. 5 minutes. Arjun stood there like a servant waiting for the queen to acknowledge him. Finally, Maya set down her pen and looked at him. Her eyes were cold and calculating. Sit. Arjun sat in the chair across from her, feeling like a child called to the principal's office. I've reviewed your qualifications, Maya said, tapping a folder on her desk. You have an MBA from a decent university. You have some experience in project management. You also have a massive gap in your employment history and 3 failed businesses in the last 4 years. Arjun's face burned with shame. I made some bad decisions. You're good at that, Maya said dryly. Making bad decisions. He had no response. Maya leaned back in her chair, studying him like he was an insect under a microscope. I'm going to hire you, Arjun. Not because I'm kind. Not because I forgive you. But because I want you to understand something very clearly. You destroyed my life once, and now I own yours. I'll work hard, Arjun said quickly. I promise. Your promises mean nothing to me, Maya interrupted. You'll work as my personal assistant. You'll fetch my coffee, organize my schedule, attend my meetings, and do whatever task I assign you, no matter how small or how humiliating. Your salary will be 30,000 rupees a month. Arjun's eyes widened. That was barely minimum wage, far below what someone with his qualifications should earn. But he was in no position to negotiate. I accept, he whispered. Of course you do, Maya said with a cold smile. You have no choice. Sign this contract. She slid a document across the desk. Arjun picked it up and scanned through it. The terms were harsh. He would work 6 days a week, often late hours. He could be terminated without notice. There was a clause about maintaining confidentiality and another about complete professional dedication to Phoenix Enterprises and its CEO. His hand shook as he signed at the bottom. Maya took the contract back and locked it in her desk drawer. Welcome to Phoenix Enterprises, Mr. Malhotra. Your hell starts now. The daily humiliation. The first week was worse than Arjun could have imagined. Maya gave him tasks that were clearly beneath someone with his education and experience. Arjun, get me a coffee. Black, no sugar, hot but not too hot. He would rush to the company cafeteria, carefully prepare her coffee, and bring it back to her office. She would take one sip, make a face, and say, "This is too hot." Make another one. He would make another one. She would taste it and say, now it's too cold. By the third attempt, his hands would be shaking with frustration, but he would force himself to smile and try again. Maya would give him massive files to organize, then change the organizing system halfway through, making him start over. She would send him to pick up her dry cleaning. She would make him stand outside her office during meetings, like a servant waiting to be summoned. The other employees noticed. They whispered and giggled when Arjun walked by. That's the CEO's personal assistant, they would say. I heard he used to be someone important, but now he's basically an office boy. The humiliation burned, but Arjun endured it. He had no choice. He had nowhere else to go. One afternoon, Maya called him into her office. Arjun, I'm having a dinner meeting tonight with some international clients. You'll accompany me. His heart lifted slightly. Maybe she was finally going to let him participate in actual business? You'll carry my briefcase, she continued, crushing his hope. And you'll stand by the door while we eat. I may need you to take notes. At the restaurant that evening, Maya dined with 3 executives from a Japanese investment firm. She laughed with them, discussed business with intelligence and charm, and negotiated a deal worth millions. Arjun stood against the wall like a piece of furniture, watching the woman he had once planned to marry command the room with her brilliance. When one of the Japanese executives asked, "Who is the young man?" Maya glanced at Arjun with a cold smile. "Oh, him? He's nobody important. Just my assistant." The words cut deeper than any knife. Natasha's return. 3 weeks into Arjun's employment at Phoenix Enterprises, something unexpected happened. Arjun was organizing files in Maya's office when her assistant buzzed the intercom. "Ms. Sharma, there's a woman here to see you. She says it's urgent." Her name is Natasha Varma. The name hung in the air like poison. Maya's face remained expressionless, but Arjun saw her fingers tighten around her pen. "Send her in," she said calmly. Arjun's heart dropped. He hadn't seen Natasha since she had left him 2 years ago. Part of him wondered if he should leave the room, but Maya didn't dismiss him. She wanted him to stay and witness this. The door opened, and Natasha walked in. She looked terrible. The beautiful, vibrant girl who had once been Maya's best friend was gone. In her place stood a thin, exhausted woman with dull eyes and cheap clothes. Her hair was badly dyed, her skin pale, her hands nervous and fidgety. When Natasha saw Arjun standing there, she froze. "Arjun? What are you doing here?" "He works for me now," Maya said coldly before Arjun could answer. "Sit down, Natasha. Though I can't imagine what you could possibly want from me." Natasha sat down slowly, her eyes darting between Maya and Arjun. I need help, Maya." Maya laughed, and the sound was bitter and sharp. "Help? You need help? That's rich coming from the woman who stabbed me in the back and ran away with my fiancé on my wedding day." Tears filled Natasha's eyes. "I know what I did was unforgivable. I know I destroyed our friendship and hurt you in the worst possible way. But Maya, I'm desperate. I have nowhere else to turn." "What happened to you?" Maya asked, her voice devoid of sympathy. "Last I heard, you and Arjun were living your great love story in Goa." Natasha's face crumpled. "It was a disaster. We ran through his family money in less than a year. Arjun's father disowned him. We had to sell everything just to survive. I tried to start a business, but it failed. Then another one. Everything fell apart. And then you left him," Maya said, looking at Arjun. "Didn't she, Arjun?" Arjun nodded, unable to speak. "I made a mistake," Natasha sobbed. "I thought I loved him, but I was just infatuated. And I was jealous of you, Maya. You always had everything. A loving family. A successful future. A man who truly loved you. I wanted what you had, so I took it. But karma caught up with me. Karma, Maya repeated slowly. Yes, I suppose it did. So now you come crawling back to me, begging for help. Do you have any idea how much I suffered because of you? Do you know what it felt like to stand in front of 300 people in a wedding dress, humiliated and abandoned? I'm sorry. Natasha cried. I'm so sorry. Sorry doesn't rebuild a broken life, Maya said coldly. Sorry doesn't erase 5 years of pain. Natasha wiped her tears. I know. But I'm desperate, Maya. I'm living in a terrible apartment. I can barely afford food. I have no job, no family, no friends. Everyone I knew has turned their back on me. You're my last hope. Maya stood up and walked to the window, staring out at the city below. Arjun and Natasha both watched her, waiting. Finally, Maya turned around. I'll give you a job, she said. Natasha's face lit up with desperate gratitude. Thank you. Thank you so much, Maya. I promise I'll work hard. I'll do anything. You'll work as a cleaner, Maya interrupted. You'll clean the offices after hours. You'll empty the trash bins, mop the floors, and scrub the toilets. The salary is 25,000 rupees a month. Take it or leave it. The hope in Natasha's eyes flickered. A cleaner? After everything she had been? But like Arjun, she was in no position to refuse. I'll take it, she whispered. Good, Maya said. You'll report to the facilities manager tomorrow morning. And Natasha? She fixed her with an icy stare. If I see you anywhere near the executive floors during business hours, you're fired. You'll work when I'm not here. I don't want to see your face unless absolutely necessary. Natasha nodded, tears streaming down her face. Thank you, Maya. After Natasha left, the office fell into heavy silence. Arjun stood there, unsure what to say. Maya sat back down at her desk and picked up her pen, returning to her work as if nothing had happened. Arjun, she said without looking up, get me a coffee. And this time, don't burn it. The cracks begin to show. 2 months passed. Arjun worked under Maya's cold supervision, enduring humiliation after humiliation. Natasha cleaned the offices at night, their paths crossing only occasionally in the building. But something strange was happening to Maya. At first, she had enjoyed the revenge. Watching Arjun fetch her coffee, seeing him stumble through tasks, making him feel small and powerless, it had satisfied something dark inside her. But lately, it felt hollow. One evening, she worked late in her office. Through the glass wall, she saw Arjun still at his desk, working on a report she had assigned him. His shoulders were hunched with exhaustion. He looked defeated and broken. For a moment, just a brief moment, Maya felt something she didn't want to feel, pity. She shook it off angrily. He deserved this. He had destroyed her on the most important day of her life. Why should she feel sorry for him now? But the feeling lingered. That night, Maya drove herself home instead of using her driver. She needed to think. As she pulled into her building's parking garage, she saw someone sitting on the steps near the entrance. It was Arjun. She got out of her car, confused. What are you doing here? Arjun stood up quickly. I'm sorry, Maya. I know I shouldn't be here. But I needed to talk to you. Really talk to you. Not as your assistant, but as someone who once meant something to you. You gave up that right 5 years ago, Maya said coldly, but she didn't walk away. I know, Arjun said desperately. But please, just listen for 5 minutes. That's all I ask. Something in his voice made her pause. Maybe it was the late hour. Maybe it was the exhaustion. Maybe it was the strange crack in her armor that had appeared when she felt pity for him earlier. 5 minutes, she said. Then you leave. Arjun took a deep breath. What I did to you was unforgivable. I know that. I've known it every day for the past 5 years. But you don't know the whole story, Maya. And I think you deserve to know the truth. The truth? Maya's voice was sharp. The truth is that you're a coward who ran away with my best friend. Yes, Arjun admitted. But there's more to it than that. Maya, I was threatened. She froze. What? The day before our wedding, Arjun continued, his voice shaking, someone came to see me. A man I had never met before. He told me things. Terrible things. He said that if I married you, your family would be destroyed. He showed me photographs of your father at locations he shouldn't have been. He implied that your father was involved in something illegal, something that could send him to prison for years. Maya's mind reeled. That's impossible. My father is an honest man. I know that now, Arjun said. But at the time, I was young and scared. This man was convincing. He said that marrying you would put a spotlight on your family, and the truth would come out. He said the only way to protect you was to disappear. To create a scandal so big that people would focus on me instead of investigating your father. And Natasha? Maya's voice trembled. Arjun looked down at his feet. She was in on it. She told me that running away together would make the story more dramatic, more scandalous. Everyone would talk about the cheating groom and the betraying best friend. No one would dig deeper into your family's business. I thought I was protecting you. Maya stared at him, her mind spinning. Could this be true? Or was it just another lie? Why didn't you tell me this before? She demanded. Because I had no proof, Arjun said. The man who threatened me disappeared. I had nothing but my word, and my word meant nothing after what I did. And by the time I realized it was all a setup, that Natasha had manipulated me and there was no real threat to your family, it was too late. You hated me. Everyone hated me. I had destroyed everything. Maya felt something crack inside her chest. Could Arjun really have been manipulated? Could Natasha have been the real mastermind? Even if that's true, Maya said, her voice barely a whisper, you still left me. You still let me stand there in my wedding dress, humiliated and heartbroken. I know, Arjun said, tears streaming down his face. And I've paid for it every day since. But Maya, I need you to know, I never stopped loving you. Not for one single day. Leaving you was the biggest mistake of my life, and not a moment goes by that I don't regret it. Maya felt tears burning in her own eyes, but she refused to let them fall. Go home, Arjun. Your 5 minutes are up. Maya, please. I said go. Her voice echoed in the empty parking garage. Arjun nodded slowly and walked away, his footsteps fading into the night. Maya stood alone in the garage, her body shaking. She didn't know what to believe anymore. Revenge had seemed so simple, so clear. But now everything was complicated and messy and confusing. She went up to her penthouse apartment and poured herself a glass of wine. She sat by the window, staring out at the city lights, wondering if anything Arjun had said was true. And for the first time in 5 years, Maya allowed herself to cry.